Okay, so we are live.
All right.
Keila, do me a favor and go on Facebook and see that you see the two of us on live, please. And then I want you also to go on YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. I deserve a check.
Put a little bit of music on.
Don't tell her don't get once she logs on, don't get too close to you because we're gonna get a feedback.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I can look. There we go again with that.
Yeah, just have her log on to make sure that she can see both of us and we're good.
Yeah, and
And,
then
and, and
log
then
off. You heard that,
Okay.
Keila?
and
Yeah, I got
Okay.
you. What's
I was cracking up, James, because I did not understand what you were saying until the end. I said, "Oh, okay."
then
I was cracking up. I said, he was like, "Okay," like, don't go on all of it. So, hey, hi, Nikay. How are you, sweetheart? Thank you for logging on YouTube. Tell a friend, share my live. Hey. Hmm. Who, me? That might be why you don't see me. But I mean, yeah.
you're not in the chair, are you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Am I in a chair?
I I see a chair or something. That's all I see.
You see what?
A chair.
I'm sitting in a chair.
Oh, okay.
Can you see me sitting in a chair?
No, I just see a black chair.
Wow. Oh, you know why? Because I moved away for a second. There must be like a delay with this thing.
Well, that's just on my end. It doesn't mean it's all the way around though. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
As long
Okay.
as everybody else can see you, we good.
Okay. Keila, can you see us on Facebook? Hey, Nikkei, can you check and see if we're live on Facebook, please? If you don't mind. Yeah. Yeah, we're on Facebook. I see us. Thank you. Okay, Michelle is on. Hey, Michelle. Hi. So you know what I noticed, James? I
Say
don't know
again.
why, but I thought I was going to be able to see the comments from my Facebookers, but for some reason I'm not. All I see are the YouTubers. That's
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
Yeah, but that's okay. I'm gonna have to keep this up so I can at least be able to comment or whatever. All right. So if you all can see us nicely and can hear us nicely, can you please put some ones up in the comments? I would greatly appreciate it. It lets us know that we're streaming nicely. Please put some number ones in the comments, please. Because
Hello, hello,
Author James
hello.
Rodman's book is number one on the streets, y'all. His book is number one on the streets. Cop your copy. Come on now, y'all can do it. We can do it. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to get started.
All right.
Okay. So I just want to say hello and thank everyone for tuning into an interview with. It's hosted by yours truly, Eunice White. So this show allows me an opportunity to interview talented people from all walks of life every fourth Tuesday of the month right here on YouTube and Facebook Live. So expect to see cool video content that will entertain, inform, and encourage you. Please help my YouTube channel grow. Even if you're on Facebook, kind of go over to YouTube. I put the links everywhere. And just please help my channel grow by subscribing to it. Like the content tonight that we have, share it with your friends, and click the notification bell to alert you of new content because your viewership means everything. All right. So tonight's sponsor, yes, we have a sponsor. Tonight's program is sponsored by Untapped Talent Recordings. If you are an artist looking for beats, management, and or recording studio, visit www.untappedtalentrecords.com. That's again www.untappedtalentrecords.com. And for your added pleasure, there is a link to their radio station. It's www.untappedmusicradio.com. You can listen to it every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. All right. I want to thank UTR for supporting tonight's program, an interview with author James Rodman. We're discussing his book, My Butterfly. All right. All right. So how you doing tonight, Arthur?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a part of this. This is my first interview, and I appreciate your time accepting be my first guest. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, so we're just going to jump right into this because I'm going to tell y'all one thing. This is one hot and juicy book, and I'm telling you guys, you will not be disappointed. Please get a copy of this. It's very interesting, and we're going to hit some highlights of the book, and you're going to want to purchase it. I can tell you that right now. Okay, so James, I have a question.
Yes.
Please explain to me what this quote means to you. We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. It's by Maya Angelou. And tell me why you chose that quote.
Well, I read Maya Angelou when I was in 8th grade. I think the book was I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings.
Mm-hmm.
So I was familiar with her and her writing styles and her understanding of how important literature was. So once I came up with this title and I knew my book was going to be called My Butterfly,
Mm-hmm.
it was only fitting that I give it a quote from Maya Angelou because she's renowned, she's historical, she's wonderful, and she made a very big impact on the Black community. So that was important to me to put that in there.
I also read a little bit in your bio and maybe in your in the ending comments that you also a fan of James Baldwin. Is that right?
Yeah, James Baldwin, because of his stylings, I didn't really want to read too much into his wording and his style, because if you start reading spectacular people like that, they start to influence how you write. So I didn't want to do that. But I followed James Baldwin in a lot of different interviews that he used to do when I was coming up as a kid. And he was a powerful voice, powerful person in the Black community. So I always had respect for him.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. So a little bit more about James. I want to read your author's bio, okay? I have
Okay.
here that you are from Orange, New Jersey, and
Mm-hmm.
became an author and screenwriter. As
Mm-hmm.
a way to chase your dreams, you were inspired again by the literary works from authors Maya Angelou and James Baldwin, and you took a liking to express your art through words. So I have here that you played with the idea of being an author for many years and finally decided to make it a reality. So besides the blogs, the interviews, and literary short stories, it was time for books and screenplays. I mean, how long did it take you to decide to do this?
Well, I've always had a dream of being an author, writing books, spewing my opinion, trying to make an impact some kind of way, but I just didn't know which way or which genre I was going to take in that realm. So I'll be honest with you, I have a friend from high school. His name is Arthur Quashan, and he actually inspired me to actually put everything that I thought I could do into an actual book and make it happen. So Arthur Quashan, y'all check him out on Instagram.
Right.
He has a new book out too.
Okay.
And just knowing someone that actually was in the field of writing books and me being able to talk to him, that made it easy for me to make the transition from dreaming about it to making it happen. So
Okay, not so bad, but it's so interesting that we're not just talking about books. You're talking about adaptations into screenplays. And so how did you get a connection or desire to even do that? And what do we have to look forward to in terms of
well, I mean, the book, I had about 100 more pages in the book, but I scaled it down to a nice size book for $14.99
Mhm.
because I didn't want it to be too big of a book and have to charge people $25. So I made it a nice size book. I put a lot of my life, everything in it is true. So I felt like the price was respectable, and I knew
Mhm.
I could make a movie from the book itself. So people will be delighted in knowing that one day when this movie comes out, I'm gonna stick to the script. You know how that phrase goes: stick to the script.
Mhm.
I'm gonna stick to the book, stick to the script, make the movie as exciting and entertaining as I possibly can, with being real and true like I was in the book, because I put the good with the bad. No matter how it
Mhm.
was going to come off to different people, I had to put the honest truth because it's my life. I told my story and everything is true. Nothing is made up. Nothing is created. I just changed a couple names because they didn't want their names, their actual names in the book, and I had to respect that. But
Yeah.
the screenwriter part I haven't perfected, but Arthur Quashan is also helping me with that.
Mhm.
We're definitely almost done with this screenplay, and we're pitching it, and I have a budget, and it's gonna be a dream come true. And I'm 50 years old, never tasted alcohol, not even a beer, and I'm out here chasing my dreams. I've had beautiful cars, I've had a house, I've had this, I've had that, but I've never had a wife that I could come home to and call my own, in the sense of forever. In the sense of forever. That's very important.
I get that. Well, that comes to our next question. I was going to ask you what inspired you to write My Butterfly.
When I was little, my mom used to say, if a butterfly lands on you and then it flies away, if it comes back to you, that's your butterfly. So I remember that when I was younger,
Mhm.
and I put it into this book. I put a butterfly landing on the heart that's landing on the piano on the front of the book. So I had a whole reason for doing everything, not to give away the things in the book, but each chapter is a title of a song. And when we're kids, those words in the songs don't make a lot of sense. But as you get older and as you grow and as you go through relationships, heartaches, and breakups, all those words start making sense. So
Yeah.
it's a powerful way for me to show my style and do my thing as a first time author, because I'm up to about 7,000 copies, and I have friends who have 2 and 3 books and they haven't been to 7,000 copies amongst 3 books. So I'm very
That's
proud of
very
that.
impressive.
I'm still pushing. I'm on the street corners. I'm at the Wawa. I'm at the 7-Eleven. I'm at the gas stations.
Mhm.
People are probably tired of me in my neighborhood or my surrounding county, because I'm everywhere, and everywhere I go, I keep 2, 3 books in my hand and 300, 400 books in my car. No matter where I go, I've been pushing this. It's been about a year and some change, and I'm not going to give up till I get to my goal and then start the movie version. And then I can bring
Mhm.
out my second book, which I'll surprise everybody. I won't tell them what that one's about, but that's a pretty interesting stab at literature myself too.
Well, I'm
So
looking forward to that, and I'm very impressed because we'll get to, before we close out. I definitely had a question for you for first time authors and dealing with the publishing companies. Like, I would love for you to share with them your route to this, because I know that you cut out a whole
okay,
lot of people
right,
to, and you're successful selling, as you stated, 7,000 books. So I can't wait for
right,
to get to that part before we close out. But I was going
right.
to ask also. That's your inspiration along the way. What did you learn about yourself or about the entire subject when you were writing this book?
Actually, in writing about yourself and having to put the actual good and bad because of the experiences I had, it makes you look in the mirror and realize you aren't the person that you dreamt you would become at a certain age. When we get to 21, we think we're going to be at a certain point in life. When you
Hmm.
get to 30, you think you're going to be at a certain point. 40. So now I'm 50. I have the book out, and I still have to look in the mirror and decide who I'm going to be and what I'm going to do to work towards being that man that I want to be. And it's an everyday process. So writing this book helped me learn about myself, learn about community, family, friends,
Hmm.
business, because books are a business. Some people write books just to say that they're an author. That's cool. I respect that.
Hmm.
But books are a business. I got that term from Keisha Green, um, if anybody knows who she is in the literary world. But books are a business, and the business side, during the pandemic, people told me I should have been happy if I sold 100 copies. And I thought to myself, these are the people that they don't understand what my mission is. If they think 100 copies should solidify my dream, then I had to get rid of them and just change the whole team around. So now I have a small team, 2 or 3 people, and myself. And if you don't see the vision, then you can't work for me. You can't work in my realm, anything. So it's a big lesson. And writing this book taught me a lot about life. And I'm 50 now, so my next 50 years, I hope God willing, I live another 50 years of chasing all the dreams and aspirations and anything I can come up with, and have the tools to actually go for it and make it happen, as opposed to keeping them a dream. Making dreams come true is a better way to do it.
And you will, because you spoke it. You put it out there in the universe, so it's going to happen.
Amen. Amen.
So what surprised you the most during this entire this process? What surprised you the most?
Well, I mean, I don't think it surprised me, but I had a lot of backlash from certain aspects of the book, whether it be me being 11 years old and speaking and writing about an experience with a 30-year-old woman.
Ooh, that got me. That was the first chapter. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, but listen, I put my reality in a book in a way to be honest and share for the guys or whoever experiences this type of stuff. And it ran me into people who have stories that will bring tears to your eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to young ladies who are women now, who speak of things that happened in their childhood, and it was their uncle or their father even. And it's heart-wrenching. It's like really sad, but they came through it. They overcame. They worked through it. They healed. So there are people out there that need to hear these stories and understand that you're not wrong for what you went through as a child, because adults are responsible for the children. So you have to heal from it so you can be a better adult. Because, we all know people 40, 50 years old, and they still blaming somebody for their past 20, 30 years when you've been an adult legally since you were 18. So it's your responsibility to heal, move forward, so you can teach and help the younger ones under you. So it's really, that's the most surprising thing, was finding out the stories that I thought my stuff was shocking, and then you read and talk to people and they break down in front of you. I'm having book signings in different places, and women are breaking down. I mean, tears, crying in front of me, saying that they couldn't believe that I put that in there and it reminded them of such and such. And then I end up standing there hugging and holding a total stranger, because it's happening. It's happening, and people need to talk about it.
So at 11 years old, and there was just not one experience based on the book. It was at least 2 adult women who did you consider it a violation when you was a child? Do you think as a child that was considered a violation, or did you realize when you became an adult man, that was a violation?
Actually, because I planned a lot of that stuff when I was a youngin'. When I was 11 and 12, I planned a lot of that stuff onto the grown women. And until I became a parent in my adulthood, I didn't realize that it was molestation onto me, when I thought it was me seducing these women. But it really wasn't, because I had no control. I was the kid, they were the adult. So no matter what I thought I was doing, these women were molesting me because they were of age.
Yeah.
So when I became an adult and a father, when I became a father, I used to watch how women, I could be walking with my son in the mall and women would be like, oh, he's so cute, I wish he was a little older. And I would have to say, man, please don't say that to my son, because I remember those days when I was younger. And when an older woman said that to me, I knew if I could get that woman alone and talk to her, that I could have fun with her. And that's pretty sad, but it was my truth. So I spoke on it in the book,
Well, it was great that you did, because then we get that other side of that was considered a traumatic experience that, young men deal with that from and a lot of times their predators can be women. So, it's not, so, I mean, we do commend you for putting that in the book, because I'm pretty sure it's very helpful. And I'm hoping it's a healing situation, not only for you, but for those of us who have gone through that thing. can find
Right.
some healing in that. So I mean, I do appreciate you being vulnerable enough to put that out there in the book, because it's a lot of stuff. I was like, what?
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
couldn't believe it. I said, if I was his mama, boy, I'd be trying to track that chick down right now.
And
But I get it.
listen, another surprising thing about this book when I wrote it, I did have it professionally edited,
Mhm.
but throughout the process, my mother was my editor.
Okay.
So piece by piece, I would have to send stuff to her, let her read it, and that was her first time finding out all of these things. So it wasn't easy for my mom. She used to call me
Mhm.
back crying. Why didn't you tell me? And I'm saying, Mom, I mean, I was doing these. I was the perpetuator in my mind doing these things. So why would I tell you when I knew I would get in trouble? I was, you know, it
Yeah.
was a sad thing, but my mom finally realized that I had to tell my truth, and she was my editor. So I gave
Yeah.
her the recognition in the book, but I also had a professional editor do it. And
Mhm.
it was a good experience with my mom, and she'll probably be editing um,
Your
things
next
for
one?
me at all times because my mom was like an editor in high school and college. So, it was only fitting that I did that with my mom.
Well, that was good. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I noticed that she was very instrumental. I can tell she was very instrumental in the compilation of the book, but also in your entire life. I think I had mentioned to you one time. I said, "Well, your mom didn't play. She held you accountable for a lot of stuff," and that's what I love too. I said, "Yeah, she is. She's a strong one because like a lot of things that you've shared in the book we can not talk about here. They have to buy the book to learn about. Your
right.
mom was like very, there, and good or bad, I appreciate the fact that she held you accountable, and
Yeah,
I love that because then it makes you the man that you are today. So
right,
that's a
right.
good thing. It's a
I
good thing.
appreciate it. Love my mom too.
Yeah, that's right.
My
We all
dad
need
too.
some
My
parents.
mom and my dad. They're in North Carolina. They're retired. They're on the property, riding around on golf carts. They're retired couple, and they're enjoying
What?
life. And I love that. I love that.
Oh, that's good. They down in my home state, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad. I'm happy for them. I hope they have a great retirement. I hope they're enjoying
Yeah.
themselves. Okay, so speaking of subjects of your book, I just made it subjects so that we don't necessarily bring out names. And I know that you may have changed some names anyhow in the book, but I was
Right.
going to ask you, what did the subjects of your book think about your book? Like your mom, or we already know she, is a supporter and editor, but a lot of people you talked about in this book, I'm reading, I'm like, did they get her permission to put this stuff in the book? She put some stuff in the book about some people, and I was like, wow. But
Yeah.
again,
Well, actually,
your
I
story.
did. I did reach out to them and let them read exactly what parts they were in and use their names, and they gave me whether it was oral permission. Some of them gave me written permission. It was my responsibility to reach out to them because I told them, I said I could change the name, but the people that know us, they're gonna know who it
Mhm,
is.
mhm.
And they were like, yeah, but I don't wanna relive that, and that's the past. So I respect that. And yeah, I got permission to put a lot of that stuff in there. And I hope that once I do make it to a bigger platform and the movie comes out, I
Mhm.
hope that they take the initiative to write a book and put their version and their side into it. Because you know
Mhm.
how they say there's three sides to a truth,
Yeah.
my side, your side, and the truth.
Mhm.
So I would love I would love for them to actually bring their side to half the stuff that's in there. I would love to know what they think,
Because
you know?
again, we're starting off through the eyes of a child. The book begins through the eyes of a child, and all of the influence that was poured into you from the adults around you, whether it was your parents, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, and anybody else. You absorb so much stuff based on the book. You absorb so much of their experience, their real life experience, and then you would find yourself living out their story as an adult man. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm thankful that they were able to at least see that much and say, hey, well, maybe I'm not sure, but maybe understanding that we played a role in who he became. And another thing that I really liked about your family is that they instilled a lot of positive energy into you. You stated this thing called confidence. You mentioned it a couple times. Confidence, confidence,
Mhm,
confidence,
mhm.
and it's good that you were that they were able to sow that into you.
Right.
But I was going to ask you, growing up, did confidence end up being a downfall for you in the relationships? The confidence that you receive as a child. Because I'm thinking about that 11-year old experience, and then how much of that poured into some of the most significant relationships you had.
Um, well, let me put it in the perspective of confidence. Um, when you idolize the wrong man and he's a womanizer, or you idolize the wrong person in the sense that you take from them what you like about them, but you don't accept what's bad about them,
Mm-hmm.
and reflect from them, like reject them as an idol. So once I started looking at certain individuals on a whole of who they were as a person, period, as they were as an adult, I started realizing that I idolized the wrong people coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have been why I made so many mistakes, because I wasn't um, intelligent enough to know what was going on at the time,
Mm-hmm.
or just not experienced enough to know that what I was doing was replicating something that I had seen.
Mm-hmm. But it also
So
put a bad taste in your mouth about how there was this one particular dynamic between your mate and maybe some family members, something like that. Just kind of like it seemed it poured into you enough where it just kind of made you kind of like have a bad taste in your mouth about certain things. If you know what I mean, don't know if I want to say all that because I want people to read the book, but that's such a huge influence, and then it follows us in our lives, and then the next thing you know, we're finding ourselves in relationships and not understanding why I don't like this and I don't like that, only to go back to the root of things and say, oh, well, that's why, because that's what I saw growing up.
that's true.
I don't know.
That's true. That's true. I mean, there were a lot of things that even as a kid, I think I was a little more mature than I should have been,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of kids are. Like you ever wonder why certain kids are survivors of the wickedest things that they experienced as kids and they came through it?
Mm-hmm.
That's because they were forced to. Sometimes some kids are forced to in situations where either they're gonna deal with it or they're gonna fold. So
Mm-hmm.
most kids want to survive. Most kids want to be in school. Most kids want to graduate. Most kids want to enjoy being kids.
Mm-hmm.
But life forces most kids to have to experience adult situations and problems. And that's
Unfortunately.
unfortunate. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate, you know,
Well,
but I learned a lot of that. I learned a lot of that. And family, you know, it's very important that you watch the kids around you, keep the kids around you secure,
yeah.
and always know where your kids are and who they're with,
Mm-hmm.
because we trust. You know, we're in the Black community. This is what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
We're villages that do raise our kids. The villages do raise our kids, and the
Mm-hmm.
way I came up, the village is raising your kids, but sometimes the kids aren't always in that particular village. So you have to be mindful of everything, because
Okay.
all it takes is an hour. All it takes is a
Yeah.
half
A
an hour.
minute,
For,
half an hour, 10 minutes. It's all it
yeah,
takes. You're right.
you know, you have to be careful of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It
So I
just
hope I
changes.
just bring that out where people start looking like, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did. Like I said, you were super vulnerable in this book, and people are going to be very surprised when they read this book because it's not expected. I haven't read many people's books, but this was the first one, and I was like, oh my gosh, like he literally shared a lot of stuff, and I'm like, wow. But it was good. It was good. It opened my eyes. It helped me, deal with certain things that I may have dealt with in the past, where I don't know. It was just great teaching. It was like, okay, I get it, and we can move on with life,
Mm,
because you do move on. You have no choice but to.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I was going to, okay, so we talked about the subject of the book, but I was going to ask, I have here, did you find yourself more or less sympathetic towards the subjects? I don't care who it is or who it was. Do you understand the subjects better now? So let's just say that the ones you idolize.
Yeah, I would say I understand them more,
Mm-hmm.
and it also taught me that, and this is why I'm 50 years old, never smoked weed, never did any drug, never tasted alcohol, not even a beer, never
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be alcoholic, never wanted to be a drug addict. Drugs and alcohol are a big factor in adult traumas.
Okay.
So if we take that into consideration,
Mhm.
people will start understanding that those two things there, those two aspects of partying and enjoying life. You grown, you're 21, you can drink beer. A keg is synonymous to college life. Once you start realizing how things are in place to make you stumble, like obstacles, they're in place for your adulthood to stumble.
Mhm. Mhm.
And once you realize what's going on, you start to wonder how certain people, how didn't they, if I knew this when I was 8 years old and I told the whole family, I'll never drink, I'll never do drugs, and the family used to laugh. And then when I got to be about 21, they started saying, oh, you weren't playing. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I knew at 8 years old what I wasn't gonna do, you
Mhm.
know. And I wish at 8 years old I knew other things that I wasn't gonna do that I messed
Mhm.
up. And that's in the book. Because if I had known those things, my life would be different too. But
Right.
yeah, I guess I did put what I learned from. I did put what I saw, what I didn't want to be of certain
Mhm.
individuals. And to this day, like I'm an advocate for domestic violence. I'm an advocate for all these things, abuse of different situations. And people go, well, why weren't you thinking like that before? And I'm trying to show them, like, I was following television. I was following movies. I was following the wrong idol. I was following, when you're following everything around you and not who you are and what you're meant to be as a man,
Mhm.
you don't know you're making these mistakes. Because
Yeah.
sometimes people think that stuff is normal. And I could be somewhere right where I live. I have a convertible. I ride around in the summertime with my top down. And I'm spending half my time pulling over trying to stop young boys from doing something that's going to change their entire life and have them locked up for 25, 30 years.
Mhm.
So, it's very important that the things that we learn as adults, we have to share that with people under us. We have to
Mhm.
share that with 18 and under. You have to share what you've learned so they don't make that mistake.
Right.
Because most people under 18 are going to follow the footsteps of somebody they idolized while they were under 18.
Yeah, you're right.
You
That's
know?
true.
So
Yeah, yes, right. That's right.
it's a tough pill to swallow. But me being honest about it, me putting that book out, me putting everything that, I have people texting me all the time. Like they'll hit me in an email and saying, listen, I read your book, but I believe everything, but this one part of the book, I don't believe. And I said, listen, this is my life, my story. My name is on this book. Everything in this book is my life.
Mhm.
Nothing is made up. So if it's in there, it's true. And I
Mhm.
apologize that you don't understand how it could be true, but it's my truth. And it's not
Mhm.
for you. It's just, I'm trying to share because somebody will benefit from it. Whether it's
Right.
one person or 100 or 1,000 or 50,000. I
And
put the
believe it or
truth in
not,
there.
somebody's going through it.
Right. You never know. And in life, most times we think we have it bad. There's always somebody that has it worse than you.
Yeah,
Always.
always. You're right. You're right. That's that gratitude piece right there. It's like, okay.
Man, it's always somebody that has it worse than
Okay, we're going to take a quick little break. I'm going to go back to our sponsor. We want to thank our sponsor for tonight. And again, tonight's program is sponsored by Untapped Talent Recordings. If you are an artist looking for beats, management, and or a recording studio, visit www.untappedtalentrecords.com. Again, that's www.untappedtalentrecords.com. And for your added pleasure, there is a link to their radio station, which is www.untappedmusicradio.com. Listen every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Thank you, UTR, for supporting tonight's program. And I will be putting this information in the comments. So, yeah, get at UTR, Untapped Records. All right?
you.
Thank you so much, guys, for being there for tonight's program.
Yeah, get loose, get
Okay, and
loose.
we are back.
DJ, get loose.
DJ Get Loose. If you like that music, DJ Get Loose, Untapped. I have to always look at it from afar because I can't read my own handwriting. UntappedTalentRecords.com. That music is DJ Get Loose. Thank you, DJ Get Loose, who is on YouTube. Love you, man. Thank you, Michelle, on Facebook. Let's see who else we have around here. Let's see real quick in the comments. Who else we have? Let's see here. Lucy Jones, thanks for joining us. Mia, thank you. Nikay, Kenaya. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on the YouTube side and then on the Facebook side. I want to say hello to, hey, Francis Williams, thank you so much. Again, Get Loose and Michelle. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us tonight. I hope you guys are enjoying the interview. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop some questions in the comments because Arthur James Rodman is here to answer your questions about my butterfly. Okay, so let's get into the themes. You know, this book is packed with themes. Not one theme, not two, but a lot of themes. Is there one particular theme that stands out or that touches you the most, or that you want your readers to know that touches you the most?
Well, I would say since I've never gotten married and I have been engaged on television, but never got married, I would love for them to take from this book the fact that I never gave up on love. I meet so many adults, women, men too. They speak as if life is over for them after a breakup, or life is over for them in a relationship sense, in love, because of a relationship that didn't work. And I would hate to feel that way. I would never feel that way. I've chosen some very good women to be with in relationships, but because they haven't lasted forever, that doesn't make me want to quit on being in love, because being in love is such a strength. So I hope the viewers or anybody that reads it takes away that you can't give up on love no matter what happens in your life.
Okay. And you know, and there's so many examples out there. I mean, from the outside looking in, there are a couple of celebrities I feel are what I might call hopeless romantics. And I mean, that's not, I don't know. I would think that would be a positive label because, I mean, you know what you want. I mean, if you go through one marriage, it ends, and go through another one, it ends, and you find a third, the third, they say is a charm. I'm thinking that it's good to keep going until you find what you want, you know, because each relationship is like a lesson. It's a step up, a step up, a step up, and you're getting closer and closer to what you want. So I think that's a good theme. Another theme, well, definitely a good theme, and it resonates through the entire book, definitely. But I was going to say, let me see here. You talk about, oh, here's another one. And I remember this part because I was like, wow, that was very interesting. You just spoke about the woman that you proposed to on national television, which happens to be in the book, guys. You got to read it. And I believe it was with her because she was your future wife. You guys struggled with some intimacy issues early on in your relationship. And what I liked about your experience was that you had to get to the root cause of what the intimacy issue was. So it wasn't necessarily you, but she was having challenges with experience sexual satisfaction. And you said it's like the first time you had ever really experienced something like that with a partner.
Right.
How were you instrumental in helping her to I guess get past whatever issue she had with that particular issue of her life? Am I making sense?
Right. I think it was the first time in my life where I understood or had to learn that the emotional connection had to be strong with her mental connection and everything for it to be a great experience for her sexually. And I never understood that about the women, because a lot of men, we deal with more of a physical, everything is visual and physical, and the women are more emotional and inward. So it's like it's an experience. A lot of men, you know, married men understand it. A lot of men who've been in long-term relationships may understand it. But a lot of us men, even myself included, it takes us time to learn how to handle certain situations and what to look for in trying to satisfy your partner, because a lot of it isn't what men think it is. The same way there are men and women out there that think they understand men and they really don't. But as we grow as adults, we learn the things that we didn't know are the things that we need to learn. So I would just say for that, because of how we started off, in the book, they'll know how her and I started off.
Right.
That situation that she had to handle before we could become a couple. I think that took a toll on her. And to this day, if I had to do it all over again, I would never do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, I thought it was the best thing to do for me to get the woman that I felt was best for me.
Right.
So I hadn't taken into consideration people's feelings outside of hers and mine.
Mm-hmm.
But that was very important. I should have taken those other feelings into consideration. I should have taken her friendships that she needed into consideration. So there are a lot of things that I wouldn't do the same, that came with knowledge and getting older and learning.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely, definitely hope I answered your question in that regard.
Yeah, you answered my question. And then during that time, how old were you when you guys got together? Were you like 25, 26 or something like that? You weren't 30 yet, were you?
No. I was 25. She was 26.
So I guess if you went back to your 25-year-old self, that's the advice you would give your 25-year-old self.
Yeah, I would say that sounds like a good idea, but you might not want to do that. And the irony is my son is 25 right now.
Okay.
So I look at some of the things that he's doing and I'm saying, there's no way my son could come to me like, Dad, I'm getting married. So I was trying to get married at a time like that, where I know mentally I probably wasn't ready or there
Mm-hmm.
or ready to be who I needed to be in order for it to sustain forever. Because I only want to get married one time. I don't want to do 1, 2, and 3. I only want to do it one time. So that's what keeps me going, because I don't regret not being married at age 50. A lot of people say, well, you might as well just hang it up. No, I'm not going to hang it up, because I will be a married man one day, and I'll be married to a woman who I look at as my forever.
Yeah.
So I won't give up. I definitely won't give up.
Well, that is good. That is good. So I have another question. Do we have any questions in the comments for author James Rodman? Any comments? Facebook, YouTube, what y'all talking about? Let's see what we have going on. Well, Lucy Jones is asking, where can she purchase the book?
Oh, okay. She could log on to www.authorjamesrodman.com. It's PayPal verified. Just go to the shop, hit the shop button. It'll take you to the book. And once you get to the book, there's going to be a yellow thing. You click the yellow, then you click the gray for debit or credit. Even if you don't have PayPal, you can still use debit or credit. It's only $14.99 plus shipping. And I send it out in 2 days, autographed. Just leave your name, I autograph it. And that's how you can get it.
You said $14.99 plus shipping and handling?
Plus shipping and handling, yes.
www.authorjamesrodman.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat. Shipping and handling. All right, put it on both sides. I put it on Facebook side too. Guys, you're gonna love this book. I cannot wait to see this in screenplay motion on the big screen. If you had to pick a celebrity to play you, who would you play? I mean, who would you pick?
Man, I wouldn't even be trying. I don't even know, because I mean, I would want a guy to play me that the women like, but I don't judge men, so I don't know who to pick.
You said that the women like, okay.
Yeah, because if the women like it, they're gonna go see that movie. It's gonna be a hit.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hit. But that's very interesting. I can't wait to talk more about that. But you're in the development stage right now, so right? Are you guys almost done, or?
Yeah, we haven't done casting and all that, but I definitely want my nephew to do my 11-year-old scene, and I definitely want my son to play me from 18 to 25 for sure.
Okay, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Okay, so I'm putting his link on both sides, guys. So please forgive me for 1 second. I'm just trying to get this in here.
Yeah, once they Google My Butterfly by James Rodman, all my stuff pops up. I'm pretty popular now, so everything I'm right at the top.
So you're also on Facebook, Instagram, and where else?
Facebook, Instagram, my own site. I'm not on Twitter yet. Okay. I have a team coming together. They're going to start a Twitter, but Facebook and Instagram, and then my website.
Thank you so much, Robin Curry. I appreciate it. Robin Curry put your information in Facebook on the Facebook side. I appreciate it, Robin. Thank you so much. And Steve Guy said Denzel.
I mean, everybody would love for Denzel to play them.
But, yeah, definitely. All right. Well, so anyway, let's get back to a couple more questions because gosh, time flew by on us, James.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, we're living. We're blessed to be alive and well. Let's keep on living.
Okay. All right. So I want you to express this part or elaborate on this part. There is a part in your book where you stated that the eyes of men finding a good woman are better than a woman in search of a good man. And you also spoke about meeting women who were scarred. Do the statistics you think have anything to do with women? You finding women scarred, like it's like it could be one woman after another, after another, after another that you've met along the way, and she's been scarred by possibly this statistic do you agree with that or what do you think the scarred issues are coming from?
Well, what I was experiencing after so many years of being in a commitment and not marrying her, that good woman, what I was experiencing was so many of the women that I met were unhealed. They weren't healed from past experiences and problems. So no matter how secure these women thought they were, their insecurities would always come out, whether it be, everything is going good in my mind. And next thing I know, I have somebody sitting in the passenger seat of my car just breaking down, crying, and we're riding on the highway, and I have to pull into the rest area just to figure out what's going on. And it was just a lot. There are so many people, both men and women. I'm not going to say it's just the women, but so many people that haven't healed from past relationships. They go into another relationship not understanding that they're scarred already. So they're entering a relationship scarred. Their heart doesn't have the capacity to be filled with the love that they should have from somebody new. So it's like it's discouraging, So that's why I'm patient. I focus on business. I focus on the book and promoting and future family, nieces and nephews, making sure everybody. I focus on a lot of things because the more and more I know God is going to give me the woman of my dreams and my forever, I have to be patient because it has to happen in His time and not mine. Because if it didn't happen up till now, it's definitely didn't. It didn't happen in my time because I would have wanted it to happen. But I feel I saved myself a divorce from the way in which I did things in my adulthood. So I say to anyone, whether you're going through divorce, whether you're going through a 3-time marriage failure, 4 times, there are people out there. I got a friend who he got married 7 times. So I mean, I don't want that for myself, but for him, I guess he has his own story to tell. He has his own experiences. And who am I to say that 7 was wrong for him? As long as he found whoever he found and he's happy in the end, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's it.
You're right. I have Robin. Robin said, did you seek therapy at any point in time or did you self-heal?
Yeah, I don't think anyone can self-heal because that's like a contradiction in terms. I sought therapy and I stayed in therapy for about 8 months. I should have stayed a little longer, but I had done a lot of work and the therapy was repeating the things that I'd gone through. So it was kind of frustrating. So it definitely helped, and it was definitely more to peel off. There were more layers that I think I needed help with, and I'm gonna do that again, just to make sure that I'm on par with being the best person I can be. But therapy works, and therapy is recommended for everyone, men and women, because a lot of men, we don't think we need it, but once you get it and you start understanding the way you are, like there are like it's easy for me to point out the mistakes of the women that I meet, but they don't understand how far I've come. So I need certain men or women to point out things they see me doing so that I can understand it's coming from a good place. And when people recognize that about you, it's not out of the blue. They're not just making it up. So your friends, they should be the ones to tell you what they see. Yeah. If they're good friends, they'll tell you the good and the bad.
Yep, they sure will.
Some people,
that's true.
Yeah, some people think that the good friends won't tell you the bad, but that's not a good friend because they're not helping you learn and grow.
And then hopefully you're mature enough to accept that they're coming from a space of love, and on the outside looking in saying, hey sis, or hey bruh, have you ever thought about this? Or and it's great to have a friend like that in your life, to kind of be super like upfront and just like, hey,
True.
you
True
know,
indeed.
I was going to go back to the one relationship you had when you reunited with an ex, and when she realized that you were in a healthy relationship, a happier, healthy relationship, she was so disturbed, and you stated that you felt like, gosh, I can't believe that. Well, she was very upset with you, and you were saying that you really couldn't believe that you could hurt someone that badly. Like it made you stop and look at yourself, like, dang, I really hurt that woman.
Right,
At
right,
least that from what I can remember in the book, you really were challenged to have to face her hurt. It was almost like, dang, I hurt you that bad? Like you just didn't realize it.
right. Well, I
With a
mean,
breakup hurt or whatever you guys had going on, she was really hurt.
right. Well, see, I didn't realize that. See, for me, I really did love her. So in loving her, that meant I really wanted her to be happy, even if it wasn't with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I love you, I want to see you do good. But it seemed
Yeah.
like the ones that were in love with me, once we ended, they didn't want to still see me do good if it wasn't with them. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the confusing part. I had to sift through and try to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you really love me if because we broke up, now you want me to suffer and go downward? I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that. That's not love. You should want me to be happy even if I'm not with you. But
And
that wasn't the case with the women I was dealing
so really quickly, if I'm not mistaken, did she break up with you? Because I was going to say, is it one of those situations where you moved on with life, you're in a happier space, and sometimes people don't want you till they see you with somebody else, and so maybe she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you moved on."
with.
Once she
Yeah,
realized that you were in another relationship, you look happy as crap, and you know. But
yeah.
you say
That's
you
that's
saw the hurt, just like, God, I really hurt this woman.
yeah. That was the relationship that showed me when we broke up. It was amicable and we agreed. Both of us agreed to part ways and
Hmm.
just move on. But once I saw her break down because she saw me happy with someone else,
Hmm.
that's when I realized when we broke up, she didn't really mean what she said. She didn't really want to break up, but she did, and she convinced me it was what she wanted because I listened.
And that
And
was the one that you guys were like, what was it, 11, 12, 15-year relationship?
yeah, that's the one I got engaged to on national TV.
Woo.
So when she broke down, she did say out her mouth like, you weren't supposed to leave and stay away. You were supposed to come back. And I was saying to myself, I had no intention of coming back. Once I decided to leave, I had no intention on coming back. So once we agreed and you look at me in my eyes and you make me feel as though you don't want me, I'm never coming back. It's never gonna happen.
Dang, so you were the butterfly that didn't come back. That sucks.
Yeah, I didn't come back. That's how she should know I wasn't her butterfly because I didn't come back.
Right, right.
You know,
That's
if you
interesting.
go if you go along with my adage for the book, that was my premise for the book.
Hmm. That is good. Okay, so we're going to hit another commercial break, and then we're going to hopefully hit another couple of questions. If anything else you want to talk about your book, let's do that. And I mean, I have time, but I'm not trying to hold you up. So you just
I'm having fun. I'm glad you chose to do this. I appreciate it.
me too, me too. And thank you, family, for coming on board. Let's get this little commercial going. I love this music. All right. So once again, our sponsors are Untapped Talent Recordings. If you are an artist looking for beats, management, and or a recording studio, visit www.untappedtalentrecords.com. Again, that's www.untappedtalentrecords.com. And for your added pleasure, there is a link to their radio station, www.untappedmusicradio.com. You can listen every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. We want to thank UTR for supporting tonight's program. Thank you so much. And if y'all like this music right here, DJ Get Loose of UntappedTalentRecords.com, put this beat together. Tell me it ain't cool. Thank you, TJ Get Loose. I love you, cousin. Thank you so much. All right. So we have another question coming from, let's see, where are we? Akila, she asked the question, was it hard to go back and face your traumatic past? And if so, how did you get through it and stay focused to finish your book?
Well, my past, it wasn't hard to go back because I don't live to regret anything.
Uh-huh.
But I definitely faced it in the sense that whatever was going on in my life,
Uh-huh.
I had to make the necessary changes if I wanted to be a better person, a better man.
Uh-huh.
So I did that, and it wasn't hard to go back. I mean, during the book, I knew I could have left out a lot of the bad things, but the
Yeah.
people that really know me and they know my life, they
Mm-hmm.
would have known that I purposely left it out, and they would have thought it wasn't genuine. So I kept it. I kept it like the young people say. I kept it 100 as best I
Mm-hmm.
could,
Yeah.
and with no regrets. And I do, I do wish that I had not done some of the things that are in the book, such as the abortions, such as this and
Mm-hmm.
that. And they'll
Yeah.
read about it. But back then, you never know what's going to be going through your mind as an adult later in life until it actually starts to dwell on you. And that's when I felt the shame. That's when I felt the responsibility and the accountability for the things that I did as a younger person that really torment me
Mm-hmm.
today because I should have known better. I should have thought better. I should have been a thinker about things, and I wasn't, and I had to live with that, and that's my reality.
Yeah, you definitely did speak on the abortion in the book, which I thought was awesome from a man's perspective, because as you just stated, it's traumatic enough for the woman to have to go through that, but a lot of people don't understand the effects it have on the men. So it was really great for you to take an opportunity to just talk about that a bit. And you have only one child, right? Just one
Yeah.
child?
One
Yeah,
son,
one
25
son.
years old.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean that's a vulnerable piece, and I mean, again, thank you for talking about that, because I know there's a lot of people who've experienced those things, and to hear a man express how it even affected you, and as you're getting older, you're looking back like, wow. So, you know, all right. Well, I have something else that I thought was very interesting that you had mentioned in the book. And it says that I came to the conclusion that love actually starts the minute lust is gone and a commitment is in place. When did you get to that point in life when you began to believe this?
Um, well, like I said, I've been searching for a forever. So the relationship and the marriage that I'm looking for, it's gonna be forever in my mind. So I'm pretty sure when people get married,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have an intention of ever getting divorced. They don't have any intention of breaking up.
Right.
And I'm sure that they look at each other that day as their forevers for each
Mm-hmm.
other. But for me, I started realizing you start working on your forever after all of that stuff is done, after the wedding day and the bright lights and the cameras and the throwing the rice and the wedding cake. That's when you have to start on working on staying together forever.
Yeah.
Because the hardest part for us as adults, the hardest part is liking each other day in and day out, month in and month out, year in and year out.
He said liking each other.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I
That's
know
true.
people that are married, they don't even like each other. This pandemic showed us domestic
Oh, yeah.
violence was on the rise, divorce was on the rise, breakup
Right.
was on the rise. How is that if you're in a relationship, you're in love, you say you love each other, but now you're forced to spend more time with each other? So more time together is breaking people up. That
Yeah.
shows you that they're together for superficial reasons or the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So, I want to take my time. I want to be in love forever. I'm, you know, that's me. I want to be with one woman, one wife. That's it,
And you
forever.
should tell everybody too, like you gained that type of influence from your parents and your grandparents. And now we're talking about back in the day. relationships, and they're totally not the same as today. So those folks stuck it out through thick and thin, whereas we are quick to throw the towel in. I'm like, I don't have time, I'm out. And so much so that you've learned about different infidelity, extra kids outside of marriage, and somehow these folks were able to still hold it together. Is that
Right.
where you get that? I'm saying traditional, but is that where you get the makeup for your outlook on relationships or marriage and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I did, but on my mother's side, that relationship ended because of a child outside of wedlock.
Oh,
On my father's side, uh, my grandmother endured a lot, you know, and that 50-year marriage, I mean, all the way up until the day he died,
hmm,
they were like inseparable. So
wow.
I did see that, and I do want that, but I want to be happy. I don't want to have a marriage where I have the story about the kid outside of marriage, or I have the
Hmm,
story about how many infidelities that took place. I
hmm,
don't want that, because now,
yeah,
at this age, I know for me to require my wife or my woman to be 100% faithful, I have to be 100% faithful, or else I'm gypping myself. So I understand that. So I'm not going to tolerate certain things, and I want to be with a woman who's ready to be with me forever, and
hmm,
we'll last, and we'll make it happen, and we'll make it do what it do.
okay. And so I'm pretty sure if you meet someone and you see red flags, do you find yourself saying, she's not ready, so I'm gonna skedaddle? Or do
Um,
you?
the red flags thing. I mean, sometimes I have to endure some of the red flags. Sometimes I have to see how deep the red flags go,
Okay.
because sometimes people have the red flags because they use those as a defense mechanism. That's what keeps them going through relationships.
Hmm.
Those insecurities. And my best example, my hottest video on YouTube is lady stop going through his phone. Women feel they have the right to go through a man's phone just because you're in a relationship. You don't respect that man if you could just pick his phone up and go through it without permission. And it's women. A lot of women think that that's their right, but it's actually an insecurity. It's definitely an insecurity, no matter what. And they'll always say, well, if there's nothing in there for him to hide, he shouldn't care. Yeah, but it's a respect factor. Women
It
enjoy
definitely is a
love.
respect factor. I agree with you, especially if you're not paying that man's phone bill. You ain't got no business going through his phone.
Yeah,
Like,
even if you are paying his phone bill, it's his phone. Women want love. Men want respect.
that's interesting. You said women want love and men want respect.
That's how we know she loves us, because she respects us, and the way
Hmm,
that she looks at us. And the main reason I didn't marry that woman after 11 years and that 5-year engagement or whatever, before we decided that we weren't going to talk about marriage,
hmm,
the reason I didn't marry her was because she didn't look at me like I was her forever.
hmm.
And I knew she didn't respect me in the sense that I was a husband in her mind, and she was going to stick it out with me. That's not how she made me feel. So I definitely wasn't going to marry her.
Mm. But you discovered that after you proposed to her, right? Not before. Did you notice it before or after?
I mean, I can say that it wasn't solidified 100%. And once we got engaged and she gave me an ultimatum about, if you don't give me a date, you know, she doesn't want to talk about marriage anymore.
Hmm.
I knew she didn't respect me. So marriage was definitely going to be off the table.
Okay.
And I had already gone to great lengths to show her in through the engagement process. It was spectacular for me, but she would have to explain what it was for her, because I can only assume. I can't speak for her.
Right. Right. Well, that was an interesting piece in the book, and I could see your progression of growth from one relationship to the next, even little small in between relationships. I could see the growth, even when you had decided to become celibate, all that fun stuff. This book will definitely show the growth and evolution of a man that's just trying to find love, and that's what I love about the book so much. I'm on Facebook right now, and Jazzy B, what up, Jazzy B? His question
Jackie
to
B.
you is now that you are a successful author, when are you coming back to DJing? And we was going to come to that at the end, but you can go ahead and answer the question.
Tell Jazzy B he's one of the guys. He was very competitive when we were coming up. He used to be with my cousin Mustafa, who actually taught me how to DJ back then. But we had such an experience in the DJ world that I can't come back to something after. It was so spectacular for me when I was in 8th grade doing high school parties and college parties, standing on the crate so I could see the crowd. So I had my time with that. I moved on. I'm an author now. I would never go back to it. But I see Mustafa, Jazzy B, DJ Doughboy. I see all these guys, B Swift. I see all these guys still doing it because they love it. Crazy K from
Yeah.
Comfort. They do it because they love it. And when you're doing something you love, it's really not work. And I
Yeah.
respect it. That's why, my cousin Mustafa is he's still hot in the streets. He stays hot in the streets. He's at Marlowe's as a resident DJ. So, I mean, I would never go back to DJing because I had so much fun, and it was fun. I wouldn't go back though.
But you wouldn't go back. So you see
Nah.
yourself more as you're just going to continue on the journey of authoring books and creating films and that kind of thing. That's what you want to
Yeah,
do.
that's what I
All
want
right.
to do. I want to
So
write. I want to make movies and keep dreaming and keep portraying my dream and keep teaching younger folks to follow theirs.
yeah, and also too, I mean, but the wonderful aspect about your whole music background is you can play instrumental part in the soundtrack of your movies, so that's a good thing too. I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna call
Okay,
Jazzy
so
B.
said it again.
I'm gonna call Jazzy B. Tell him to get ready.
Yeah, Jazzy B, get ready. Okay, so I have one more question I think about the book and I mean I don't know. I mean I'm pretty sure you left something out. I was going to ask what did you edit out of the book? What didn't make it into the book? Because I'm serious. You were just like super, 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 super like I'm an open book. I'm telling everything.
Yeah, I had too many stories that would cloud the fact that I've learned from the stories that I actually put in the book. So
Mhm.
those are the stories I left out because I've had experiences. I'm the voice on Apache's Gangsta Bitch record. That's my voice as the
That's your voice.
yeah, that's me as the chorus. I got put on by J Scratch, James Tarver, DJ J Scratch. So I have an experience with the, Queen Latifah was my sister's best friend.
Hmm.
I have experience with these. I have so many experiences that I could put in a book, but I chose not to because I didn't want to. I didn't want it to cloud the fact that I was writing about love.
Yeah, that makes sense. You want to keep the main thing the main thing. So I get it.
Right.
But I mean, the next book, you can probably, go write another story to just capture another area of your life or whatever.
Yeah, some of
That
those
is
stories
so
I
cool.
gotta take to the grave. Gotta take to the grave.
Yeah, I get it. There are some stories you have to take to the grave, honey. I get it. All right. Well, does anybody out there in YouTube land and Facebook land, you have any questions? Any more questions for the author? Anybody? Let's
And tell
see.
them you say we're gonna do a book giveaway or 2 book giveaway or
We
whatever you're
are.
gonna do.
We
You let
are.
me know.
So stick around because we're going to give a 2 book giveaway at the end of our interview, which is kind of winding down now. Jazzy B said he's ready. Carla Scott has a question. She said, how many times have you been married and why now settling down? So he's never been married.
Never been married.
Never been
Engaged
married.
once. Never
Engaged
been married.
once.
And
Never
I
been.
want to be a married man, happily married man to a woman that I can treat like a queen, and she looks at me like I'm her forever. That's what I'm dreaming about.
Oh, so Terry Hatchett says, "Hey Crunch, as a fellow author, my question is: with My Butterfly being your first book, did you find it hard to find an editor that would edit your book without changing the meaning or the language?" Good question.
Well, early on, I said my mom was my editor, so she was pretty much flowing with whatever I gave her. But the professional editor that I hired, she was actually very good in reaching out to me and asking me what I meant by certain things and where I was trying to go with certain things. So
Hmm.
she wanted it to stay exactly on track with where I was trying to go. So I
Okay.
had a good time. I had a good time with the editors that I chose. My mom being one, and then the
Mhm.
professional editor. It's in
Well,
the first page of the book has that the professional editor that I use.
okay. Well, I think
Yeah,
it's great to even have your mom as your editor because your mom knows you.
yeah.
She knows you. Okay, so a couple little questions I have extra. Let's see if you okay. You already did that. You already answered that question. I was going to say it. Well, I have going back down memory lane. If you could tell yourself anything, what would it be? I guess it depends on. It don't matter what age.
Actually, I would tell myself stop blowing all that money that I had and that slipped through my fingers.
Wow.
Stop hurting those women who could actually have been my wife and my forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I sure enough would have told myself, slow down and enjoy life because we used to hear high school was the best days, and you never wonder why you hear high school are our best days. You're like, nah, I didn't, high school wasn't. But for me,
Yeah.
I was a celebrity in high school, and after high school, adult life was serious.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand how important childhood, high school life, and pre 18-year-old life could be. So it's important to put yourself in a position where from 18 on,
Mm-hmm.
you're living life and sailing and enjoying and following businesses, enjoying life, traveling, and all that most people wish they could do.
Okay. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
excuse me. Got this cough going on. If you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be? 3 words. And I'm gonna get some water. Excuse me.
I'm gonna say
Three
I
words.
3 words. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was to have to talk about myself, I'm gonna start with number one being clever because I feel as though I think differently and I move differently and I enjoy life differently. Number two, I'm gonna say very creative because I've done so many things. I was a good DJ, very popular DJ when I was younger. Um, I'm an author now. I've raced cars for money. I used to race cars. I used to run on foot against cars for money. I mean, I've done they call it racing for cash, all up and down the East Coast with some of the biggest teams running for pots of size of $100,000. So I've experienced some great things. I'm a Gemini, so we're talented in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And number three, very passionate, very affectionate, and a kiss means everything to me. If the kiss doesn't just wow me between the woman and me, I don't think that is special. But I know it's special when I have a hard day and I come home and she gives me a hug and one kiss from her makes my
Oh,
whole day better. So
that's how
that's
my
that's
that's how I used to be with my little girl. That's my baby when she was a little bitty girl, and I could just get a kiss from her, and it would just like wipe everything away. I'm like, okay, I'm fine now.
yeah, I can imagine.
So
You
that is
need that in your life. You need some type of intimacy on that level in your life, you know. So I'm
well,
looking.
and you talk a lot about intimacy in your book through the different relationships. That's why I was like, this book is so blunt, it's so upfront. You guys are going to really enjoy it, and it's going to be it's going to take you by surprise. But you're going to really want to see this on the big screen. It's going to be, oh my god, like it's just, I loved it when I read it. I was like, oh, this is great. All right, and then I guess I have a bunch of questions, but what do you want your readers to take away from this story?
um, don't give up on love.
Mhm.
There's somebody for everyone, and a lot of times people miss out on their blessings because you're passing up your blessings on a daily basis with your list that you have. And when God gives you what you need, you better recognize it because you'll mess around and be 55, 60 years old with a cat and a dog and wondering
Mhm.
what happened.
You know what's really interesting is when you pray for God to send you someone, and He sends that person, and you're not ready.
And
That's
you
when
don't recognize it.
it's like when you don't recognize. It's like, dang, that sucks. You pray for this, and you get it, and it's like,
That's,
okay,
that sucks. That sucks.
that sucks. But anyway, we'll get through it. So anyway, anybody have any other questions? I do see Robin Curry say, "Yay, New Jersey, Essex County."
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Essex County, Orange, New Jersey. I grew up in
Yeah.
Orange, grew up in East Orange, grew up in Newark. Grew up in Irvington, 183 21st Street and Avon Avenue.
Oh,
Marshall Street Apartments. 23 Argyle was my grandparents' home. They had they bought a 6-family home, Rhode Island Avenue in East Orange. We used to
wow.
live when I was a kid, 268 Prospect Street. I'm just throwing these names in
Yeah, I
places out.
see. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, so
so you've been all over.
07050, Orange, New Jersey. I'm happy to be from New Jersey because
Uh,
a lot of talent. People can go on my Instagram and see Wyclef has my book. Wyclef gave me pictures holding my book.
I thought that
New
was so
Jersey,
cool.
yeah, New Jersey is packed with talent and a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be from New Jersey, and I'm gonna keep it
Oh,
going. I'm gonna keep pushing. Matter of fact, when I get off this live, because it's raining out, we're going through a storm up here.
yeah.
And I have my car packed away, covered up, and I don't want to bring it out in the storm. So I'm a Uber. I'm gonna Uber to a spot with 10 books, and I'm gonna take 10 books out and sell these 10 books tonight before 11 o'clock tonight. And that's just how I keep hustling and keep moving.
You know what? I love that about you too, because someone reminded me of Master P, and I said, I think that's how Master P started, right? Wasn't he selling tapes out of his
Yeah.
trunk, the trunk of his car?
Out the trunk, out the trunk. A lot of people did that. Eric B. Rakim, you name it. A lot of people, and that's what I'm doing. I keep 200-300 books in my car. So people always come up to me like, "You got any books?" I'm like, "Do I have any books? How many do you want?"
Wow, that is so cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
definitely the hottest
I'm
book in the streets.
yeah. Let me mention this. Vivica Fox,
Mhm.
Christina Milian, you name it. Candy Burris. Uh, what's the other girl's name? I can't. Rashida Frost. All of them.
Mhm.
November 6th and 7th at the New Jersey Expo. Yours truly, author James Rodman, will be in the building both Saturday and Sunday, signing autographs and selling books.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I
Yeah.
saw it on your page, so I'll definitely push that on my page as well.
Oh, thank you,
Okay.
thank you.
Well, I guess we're about to close, unless there's something else you want to share.
Well, just make sure you pick the 2 people that are going to get the free book, and give me their address and then get all that for me, Eunice, please. And I thank you. Keep pushing. Let's keep working together because this is a family. We're gonna keep it moving. I thank
Yep.
Frank, Terry, everybody. Tell Steve his song was hot. So
Yes,
I'm
it
I'm
is. It
glad
is.
I'm glad we keep pushing everybody and anybody that needs my help. If I can help you, I will. I appreciate you, Eunice. This was fly. You got
Oh,
me on
good.
three platforms at one time. That was hot.
With
So
your help, because I was lost. I was like, I don't know what to do.
I appreciate it. And to everybody out there, follow me on Instagram at author James Rodman. Follow Eunice on Facebook. Just keep it going. Keep following your dreams, and don't give up because tomorrow's not promised. So you got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing.
So the question I have, well, here's the deal. Again, there's 2 free books. I'm gonna pick one person from I guess YouTube and the other from Facebook. And
Okay.
if you were here from the very beginning of the interview, I mentioned a quote, and I'm going to say the quote, but you have to tell me who it's by. And then the first name that pops up in the feed will receive a free book, My Butterfly by author James Rodman. You will not be disappointed. You're going to love it. You'll be like, oh my God, they didn't cover half the stuff in this book, but it is so good. This is such a great book, and I'm so happy that I've got a chance to read it and support the author. So the quote, and hopefully everybody's ready to just, I guess, type it in whenever you're ready. The quote that I asked Arthur James what it meant to him, it goes, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. If you can type in the name of the person who made that statement, you get a free book. 2 people, one from YouTube and one from Facebook. So let's see what we have here. Let's see if anybody put it
Well,
in.
I appreciate you, Eunice. This was lovely. You asked me earlier how many times have I been interviewed. I've been interviewed quite a few times, but
There you go, Nikkei. Got you. We have
it's
one so
different.
far.
It's different. It's different when it's people that are family and they love you and they care about your well-being. So it's
Mm-hmm.
important. So whatever you're doing, you let me know. I'm in support of you no matter what.
And the same with you, definitely.
I appreciate
Definitely. The same for you. I'm so happy for you. And it's so funny. I would really quickly state how we met. Let's tell them how we met. How did we meet, James?
it. No, you tell them. You tell them.
We
I'm
met
doing.
right there on Facebook. So the pandemic hits, and I remember that James, oh God, when the pandemic hit, a lot of people were putting their stuff out. You had just dropped your book, I think, a little
Mhm,
before the pandemic. And
mhm.
then I have to start with DJ Crazy K. DJ Crazy K, that's my man. I love DJ Crazy K. I
Yeah,
better find him. I don't even know where he is right now. But anyway, he was the one that was putting out all you DJs, and then just started networking and following DJs and thanking God for all the DJs for coming on and just keeping us uplifted, because that was a tough time. When that pandemic hit, it shut the world down. And
yeah.
these guys were no longer in the clubs playing, they were on Facebook Live. And it was through the DJs coming on board that I just became familiar with you guys. And then next thing you know, it was the whack DJs. And next thing you know, it was curfews. There was next thing, da da da. And I'm like meeting everybody. Next thing I know, you pushing your book. And I'm like, I'm gonna get that book. Okay, that DJ's on. I'm gonna send him some money. So and so. I'm gonna buy this. I bought records, and I can't even do not records, but like little pieces of music, whatever you call it,
Right,
from
right, right.
Bandcamp. I just bought it because I'm just like, hey, I like the music and
Okay.
whatever, but just supporting people. So that's how I met you. And then eventually we're following the Hatchets, our peoples, the Hatchet Chronicles, Frank and
Uh-huh.
Terry, and
Frank and Teddy.
it just went from there as well, because they was so supportive and even plugging your book on their platform as well. It's like, okay.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
it just went from there. And that's it. And I just happened to ask you one day. I said, hey, I want to do an interview. Would you be my first guest?
Yeah, definitely. And Frank and Terry Hatchet, the Hatchet Chronicles, Monday nights at 8 o'clock.
8. Yep, on Frank
Um,
Hatchett's
on
page.
Facebook. On Facebook, Frank Hatchett's page. Very, very informative information.
Mhm.
We get it. We get it in. So if
We have
you
fun.
got soft skin and you don't want to talk about reality, then don't come in there. If you have something to add and it's adult content, it's a beautiful thing, because
Yeah.
they're a beautiful married couple that a lot of
Yep.
people can learn from. And I love the atmosphere.
Yeah. All right. So really quickly, we have our first winner on YouTube. That would be Nikkei. Nikkei
Okay.
wins a book. Okay, Nikkei, your copy of My Butterfly is on its way. Personally signed by Arthur James Rodman. So thank you for that. And I'm going to shoot over to Facebook. And I got a response. Let's see, who is it? I don't know how to tell this, but it looks like it's Kristen. Hey, Chrissy. Kristen Rutledge. She gets Maya Angelou. She put Maya Angelou down as well. So okay,
Okay.
so both Chrissy and so Chrissy, please send me your send me the address um in my messenger, please. And that way James can get the information and get it out to you as soon as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
And then Nikkei, you're on YouTube, so you know to hit me in my. You can just text me, sweetie. Text me, and then I will have James send you a copy. Thank you so much. Want to thank everybody, but once again, we want to thank our sponsor, UntappedTalentRecords.com. Okay, so we want to thank them along with the other side of them, which is Untapped Talent. No, I'm sorry, I just said it twice, didn't I? I cannot see my own handwriting. Untappedmusicradio.com. Everything is in the links, guys, in the comments. So they sponsored tonight's event. We greatly appreciate them. Thank you for the music, cousin Frank. And thank you again, James. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Um, God bless you all. Thanks for spending some time with us. Eunice, you take care. Keep
Yep.
pushing. And everybody just keep on keeping on. Amen.
All right. Amen. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you in a month. I'll see you in a month. I'm going to be interviewing someone else fabulous in the month of November. It's the 4th Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. You can get this rebroadcast on tomorrow via Untapped. Well, I believe it's gonna be via Facebook and YouTube, but it's also gonna be through Untapped musicradio.com. They're going to preview. I'm sorry, replay this tomorrow at 3:30 on their radio station. So yeah,
Okay.
so that's what we're doing.
All right. All right.
All right, sir. Well, you be good. Everybody take care out there, and thank you so much for tuning in. And
All
I
right.
think
Take
that's
care.
that. All right. Take care.
Take care. All right.
All right. Bye.